Mhm. Right, let's try that one again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the IRL Xbox F1 League, brought to you in partnership with GT Omega, Driver 61 and GridFinder.com, bringing you Season 13, Round 3 action from the circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet. My name is Kieran Mike 92 and I am joined, as always, by my good friend and broadcast colleague, Mr. DomThNoodle. Good evening, Dom.
Good evening, Kieran. Yeah, quite right there. Round 3, France. Great track. 27 laps at 3.63 miles. That's a rough estimate on the top of my head. I'm going to calculate it quickly to about 98 miles, give or take. 98 miles, 15 corners of flat-out racing where strategy is everything. The undercut can be powerful, the overcut can be powerful, the opposite strategy can also be very powerful. So, yes, we're in for a great fight here tonight. And not only that, but there's a few little interesting facts for tonight as well. DJ Danny last week, became the first IRL Xbox driver to win 10 races in his career. You reckon he can make it 11?
I don't see why not. But that leads on perfectly to what I was going to say. For those who did miss last week's fantastic race from Australia, it was indeed DJ Danny who picked up his first race win of the season, with DCRS Smate finishing second, Bots Gerbil in third. So we'll have a quick look at the driver standings as we're getting ready to head into qualifying here in France. It is DJ Danny that leads the way for McLaren, with Ferrari's Bots Gerbil 4 points behind in second. PSR Harry, who didn't race last week, I believe, in third place for Haas. In terms of constructors, it is DJ Danny and El Senadio in the McLaren team, leading on 30 points, 5 points ahead of Bots Gerbil and Raza in the Ferrari, with the Haas team of PSR Harry and Shush a further 10 points back in third. So of course, Dom, you did commentary last week in place of Mr. Andrew Gatton, who wasn't around, so you teamed up with Matty. Who would you say are the ones to watch here tonight in France?
In all honesty, I know this is sound very, very... this grid is so close this season. I genuinely think that whilst DJ Danny and Bots Gerbil and Liverpool Union are up there week in, week out, I still think that there is a lot of competition here this season, and I can't see any reason as to why you shouldn't keep an eye on everyone.
I mean, that's what we like to hear. It's what we like to see here in Invictus. Tight, clean battling between our drivers. And it's all good. Hopefully you can hear me well. Hopefully you can hear Dom well as well. I do, for the slight technical issues that we did have at the start of this, unfortunately, as we went live, the entirety of my streaming setup decided that it was going to die on me. So we're streaming through the Xbox, unfortunately no overlays. So to our sponsors, GT Omega, Driver 61 and GridFinder.com, I do apologise. I really do apologise. Hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, when we are back, when Dom and I are back, everything will be sorted and we will be good. You can see the ready ups now. Everyone is getting ready for qualifying here in France. We've got 12. It's not a full grid.
We're due to have 2 more join us.
We should still have some tight battling. Oh, the timer started, got to about 2 seconds, then stopped. That was interesting.
That was quite
Dom,
interesting.
As we said, you did commentary last week in place of Andrew. What were your takeaways from that Australian Grand Prix? Maybe hasn't watched it.
In all honesty, not to count out anyone in the bottom 10, they're all very, very strong drivers, and whilst, the grid wasn't last week either, it was still a great race, and we really enjoyed ourselves. Obviously, DJ Danny took his 10th win. Botch Gerbil took another podium to make it. I think he's had 4 in a row now. So yeah, like I said, don't count out anyone in the bottom. The bottom 10 is the takeaway I took from it personally. They can really put in a fight when they need to and mix up the grid. Another one I found out as well recently is that when the Red Bull drivers seem to have a problem, when one of them seems to have a problem, it all unfolds horribly for both of them. So one awkward pit stop that takes a bit too long can really set the Red Bull team back completely from their strategy. So keep an eye on that as well. Obviously, I don't want to jinx anything, but I want to see if their luck does improve a little bit.
Well, hopefully their luck will improve. We've got some members of the wonderful Invictus family in the Twitch stream. Chloe's in there, Ryan Martin in there, that is Maraza, I believe, and Mr. PSR Harry is also in the building as well. How are we doing, lady and gents? Hope you are all well. We're just waiting for El Sonedo and Farfu to get themselves connected into the lobby, and then we will be good to go for qualifying here in France. Now, Dom, I know you recently raced around this track. I don't think it was in an F1 car, but you have recently raced around this track. Where are there places that we should be keeping an eye on for this French track for sort of overtakes and things like that?
Well, there's the obvious one, the 2 DRS straights. So from turn 15 down to turn 1, turn 7 down to turn 8. You might see a couple of dive bombs into turn 8 as well with that DRS. You might see the, let's say, more confident drivers make moves in the third sector, really stick around the outside of drivers, or, send one up the inside of the double apex right-hander of turn 11, and make a very narrow line, compromising the other drivers' whole theory about racing. And I reckon from turn 2 to down to turn 3 as well, it's not a DRS straight, but a good exit from the following car can really send one up the inside, or even stick it around the outside for the inside for the following corner, which would be turn 4. And a good exit down to turn 5 and on towards the DRS straight.
Well, those will be the places that Dom has suggested that we should look for potential overtakes. We're going to see our first car out on track, and I think it's going to be Raza in the Ferrari, who is going to be leading us out here in qualifying for this French Grand Prix. Raza, I know a driver that you have a bit of a soft spot for, Dom, from last season in the realistic performance, following his very long stint in Monza. I know he's had a bit of you've had a soft spot for him from that moment onwards, so
yeah,
we'll see how he gets on.
I'm he's one of those drivers that took me by surprise. We hadn't yet much of him by then, and obviously that had then happened, and I kept my eye on him, and he's got a lot of potential. If he really focuses his mind and works with other drivers, especially in the league, he could really start to pick up some speed. And like I said, anyone here could be a title contender at the end of this season and the start of next season. So yeah, Raz is a really good driver, and I've got a lot of respect for him. And talking about that, obviously all of the drivers now coming out of the pits. 30 seconds is the pit loss time here tonight.
Big long pit lane.
Yeah, so strategy, like I said, comes down to everything. Do you pit early? Do you pit late? Are those tyres going to be fresher than the tyres that the other people are putting on? Is the main question.
And I think the next main question that everyone was going to ask is, what's the weather like? Can confirm it is dry. There is no rain expected this evening, which should make the strategy calls for everyone here very, very interesting indeed. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think that's just drivers trying to make space for one another. There's almost a little moment there between one of the McLarens coming out of the pits as Raza starts his hot lap. Hopefully
he has now invalidated
Raza too much. Raza has ended up invalidating that lap. I don't think the McLaren put him off. I'd like to think he didn't put him off. I think that was just Raza running a little bit wide on corners there. We'll jump further down to, I believe, is it going to be, I think DJ Danny's just ahead of Botch Gerbil. Yes, DJ Danny's just ahead of Botch Gerbil, so DJ Danny will be the next person to cross the line, providing he doesn't invalidate his lap as well. We're right on board with DJ Danny as he comes down this long straight here. You can see the DRS open at the back of that lovely papaya orange McLaren. Ooh, a little Raza ahead of DJ Danny there. Danny getting as close as he can to Raza, get as much of that slipstream as possible. Just past his teammate DomThNoodle there on the right hand side as well. Up to this corner, which I believe don't full throttle through this section that Danny's doing now. You hit the
so
zone here?
The right-hander of turn 10 is flat out. You don't drop a gear, you don't lift, you keep your foot pinned, and you just send it into the corner. And then what you want to be looking to do is keep your foot in it until what people would consider the braking zone. However, it doesn't quite start as a braking zone, it's more of a speed scrub-off zone. You don't really use the brakes too much. You sort of lift off and use the gearbox to do most of the work for you, so yeah, very complex third sector, if I'm being honest.
There's a 1:30.9 set by DJ Danny. Botch Gerbil follows it up with a 32.7. Nathan HRX comes in with a 31.2. Lap times tumbling in now as Ruzex currently on pole, provisional pole, with a 1:29.8. First driver to drop into the 29s very early on in this qualifying session. And Joey645 currently in second place himself with a 1:30.2. In terms of strategies, we have mentioned it a couple of times already, Dom, how important they're going to be this evening. What would you say, in your opinion, is the quote-unquote optimal strategy for tonight in terms of tyres?
Well, I mean, you can use any of the tyres tonight, in all honesty. I mean, lap 1 damage, you can probably get away with using the hards till the end, and someone like Raza, who, like you said, did take that risk at Monza, could probably do the same again tonight as long as he takes care of those tyres. But if you're looking strategy-wise, I mean, you're looking at starting on the softs and pitting for the mediums. That is very, very doable. Pitting lap 9 to 11. Or you could go from the softs to the hards, which, will be, a lap 6 to a 9 for that pit. Or you can start on the mediums, which some of the drivers look to be doing. And pit lap 17 to 20 for softs to the end. So, yeah, there are a lot of strategy calls here. You could start on the mediums as well, and there could be a safety car lap 3 and throw the hards on, and there's your race. Don't need to pit again. So, yeah, strategy is very, very important, and it will be one of those things that you take your strategy in its moment. You cannot overestimate the importance of a strategy here. You can't underestimate the importance of the strategy, but you also can't overestimate it based on the fact that anything can change at the drop of a hairpin.
Indeed. Just seen DCRS mates joining us now. We've got 13. We're supposedly possibly having as many as 15 drivers racing this evening. So we should hopefully be getting a relatively full grid, which is what we like to see here in Invictus. Carbon Gaming is in the building. Good evening, Mr. Carbon. Hope you are well, my friend. Out on track, on a hot lap at the moment is DomThNoodle. I have a funny feeling it's not a hot lap of the hottest kind, as DomThNoodle has recently just completed a hot lap. Currently in 5th place with a 1:31.820. He's going to come into the pits. He is indeed going to come into the pits. As he comes into the pits, Raza is playing a lap and has already, unfortunately, again, invalidated.
Yeah, turns 1 and 2 pretty tough. Well. Very, very tight, and they're very inviting to take as fast as you possibly can, but sometimes, you do have to sacrifice some speed for stability, and that's what drivers do tend to forget at France. This track is very inviting for all of the wrong reasons. If you were on board with Farfu, then who is on our lap? He's just gone through, I believe it's turn 9. And you know, it looks like somewhere you can put your foot down immediately and on the exit out of and just go. But really, you really have to feather that throttle out, otherwise it is game set match for you, and you will be on the in the wall on the left hand side. Trust me, I know the pain, the experience.
Indeed. So we're going to jump up to Farfu, who looks to be just finishing a lap here around this Paul Ricard circuit in Le Castellet. Comes up to the line now. We're going to jump on board with Farfu on the run to the line. Another driver who Dom had a bit of a soft spot for last season, that was because Farfu was in his beloved AlphaTauri. He's put himself fourth with that lap time, a 1:31.228 there for Farfu.
Yeah, there's not a bad lap time either, because he had a bit of a hiccup in Sector 3, exit of turn 11, entry of turn 12. He mounted the curb on the left-hand side a little bit too much, and went very much over it, but managed to sort of lift the throttle, put it back on, and recover the lap. But I still think there's time in it for him, especially on those mediums.
Definitely time to find, always time to find, especially around a track like this. We're going to stick with Ruzek. In fact, we won't. We're going to jump to Liverpool Ewan, who is actually on a hot lap. He has invalidated that hot lap, so we'll jump down to Smates, who is still good on his lap time. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think it's just cars maybe moving out of the way of one another. I don't think it's anything too major there. We'll see what Smates can do as he's coming around towards the end of Sector 1. Yellow flags all over the place now. Ignore the time at the top of the screen. It's definitely not a 3-minute lap time from DCRS Smates. Don't worry, it's not that bad. Let's just see those running a pretty clean line. It's the exit curb there on the chicane, just a little bit too much. In fact, we're talking about curbs and limits. How much limits can you tell, or how close to the limit can you get here, Dom?
Personally, I found this track to be one of those ones that you can really push your own limits, not just the car's limits, but your own limits too. You will get penalised for obvious, track limits infringements, and you can get penalised for not so obvious. But there are, spots in which you can take that you're like, I'm sure that was out, but it really wasn't. So it's one of those things, it's, case by case, and you either take the risk and fall 3 seconds behind to a guy that, hasn't taken the risk and is kept clean and in the lines, or, you can, again, take the risk and make that time. So it's very much one of those tracks that feel free to do it at your own feel free to do it on a death wish.
Indeed, and there is PSR Harry, the man who won race 1 in Australia. No, not Australia. Where were we race 1? Gosh, where were we? Brazil?
Brazil?
It was Brazil, wasn't it? Last week. It was last week in Australia. He didn't race last week in Australia. Won race 1 though in Brazil, won our season opener. I should really have known that, seeing as that was the last commentary gig I did for Invicto. I have worked since then. We'll see Liverpool Ewan now, diving into the pits. DCRS Smates this time done a lap. I think it was a bit of a gaming glitch there, as we saw his initial lap time. Oh no, maybe he's throwing that lap away. It's going very, very slowly now.
I do apologise for that. My son is very loud tonight.
Fine, he's enjoying the racing, Dom. We all know that's what he's doing. We know he's watching the racing. So we know he's getting excited. Officially the youngest fan of Invictus. If you've got someone younger, let us know. We've got Carbon in chat saying you can take a lot of curb on entry of the chicane on the back straight. It helps with the exit speed. About 2/10. So we'll see how many drivers potentially know about that.
Yeah, so I think what he means there, and if I think I know what he means, if you're on board with DCRS Mates now, actually, he's coming up to it. So what you've got is, on this right-hand side, you can take a lot of this curb and then cut a lot of the apex curb, as done so there. And it can really, really help. Again, the same there. Just as DCRS Mates has nailed that perfectly without me even asking. That is perfection. And I will take it.
There we go. Joey puts himself onto the front row of the grid. 129.96 there. And there's Carbon in chat agreeing with what Dom said there as we jumped on board with Smates for that section of track. Let's see who we've got next to potentially set a lap. I think it may be Raza. No, Raza is just about to finish his lap actually.
DCRS Mates is also about to finish his lap now.
30.04 Raza. Let's see what Smates can get himself up to. 130 dead by Smates. Couldn't get any more dead if he tried. A 130.000 CRS Smates, currently in third place.
You know what? Red flag the session. Let the man have it.
Whoa! And there goes Jamie, 29x. Going for a little spinala action. And another driver that caught your eye a couple of weeks ago. In Brazil, Dom, some peak. Obviously, I'm not sure whether he raced last week in Australia. You would have to remind us all if he did. But I know he was a driver that caught your eye a couple of weeks ago. How do you think he's going to fare here in France?
He's quick. He was unfortunate at Brazil. He left it too late. You know, he didn't set a banker lap, and that's understandable. He wanted to show everyone his true pace right at the very end of qualifying. But that didn't quite work out for him, so he then was on a mission to come back, and safety car and rain and all sorts happened, and it just didn't quite work in his favour after he got penalty and all that jazz. But yeah, I think he's fast enough to show his his pace and really give us a bit of a show here tonight.
Indeed, Nathan HRX comes into the pits, currently in fourth place. I believe in our pre-race notes, I was looking through some of them, and I think that Nathan HRX could potentially make a little bit of history here. I'll let Dom try and grab our race document again and just confirm that for me, but I'm pretty sure that Mr. Nathan HRX could be on the verge of making some history here in Invictus.
Yeah, he can be. So Nathan HRX over the record for the most races without a podium result if he does not finish on the podium here tonight.
A bit of an unwanted record, but a record nonetheless. Oh, Botch Gerbil has retired from the session. I believe that's in the pits. So not planning on coming out to do another lap, but you can see quite a few cars out on track setting laps, including the man currently on our screens, Mr. DJ Danny. He is going quite slowly, so I think he's going to be coming into the pits. And this could be his qualifying done. Nathan HRX does the same thing. Or is he going to go for 2 push laps? I think he might be going for 2 push laps here. Is DJ Danny coming up to the line? This is significantly slower than his best lap time so far. But this is going to be last chance saloon now for DJ Danny. Raza retired from the session as well. You can see quite a few cars now do the same thing and retire themselves from the session. Ruzek is ever so slightly slower on his time so far. Is he going to improve? He does not improve. But is still, at the moment, on provisional pole position. Just jump and see who else we've got around. So Liverpool Ewan just starting a lap.
Yes.
Pikachu's towards the end of his lap.
He's on his out lap.
He's on his out lap. It's another one of those little timing glitches.
Yeah.
Gotta love the old timing glitches. Smates retires in the pits as well. 20 seconds left of this session. Who is the last car out on track? Where is Sir Sharks? He's about to cross the line. Where's PSR Harry? He's about to cross the line. Joey is there. I think PSR Harry's going to be the last person to cross the line. He does cross the line just in time Farfu will be the only person unable to set a lap. So here we go. This is last chance saloon for these drivers here in La Castellet. You don't want to make mistakes now, as El Senado goes provisional pole with a 1:29.787 on those soft tyres. Next car to potentially cross the line will be Liverpool Ewan, providing he does not invalidate here in Sector 3. Let's see what Ewan can do. Looks to be on a relatively strong lap time at the moment. Could be getting himself up the business end of this grid. Here we go. Here comes Liverpool Ewan. DRS is open on the push up to the line. It's not going to be pole position for Liverpool Ewan. It's going to be P10. P10 for Liverpool Ewan.
This has really opened up the grid. A few more drivers due to start rolling in now. Jamie 29X.
Jamie 29X.
Goes pole.
Provisional pole for Jamie 29X. Sign up Pikachu comes around the final corner now. DJ Danny has retired in, I believe that's the pit. Can Sun Pikachu put himself on pole? He can't. Stays P14. Sir Sharks puts himself on pole position. I don't think the only other person that could potentially... Oh, and he can't change it. PSR Harry has invalidated his lap time, which means Sir Sharks is on pole.
Yeah, and the podium the podium qualifiers, Sir Sharks, Jamie 29X, and El Senado, 3 people who, if you'd have asked me to put my money on who was going to get the top 3 in qualifying, were not going to be them. They're not slow as proven here, but they're great helping drivers, so they'll help you do really well. They'll hold up other drivers for you, but they'll do it cleanly and quickly. Very strong drivers. You know, I'd say bottom of the top pack drivers, because I'd say, you know, middle of the points range, these drivers, and I wouldn't have put them on pole position.
Well, there we go. Sir Sharks takes pole. Jamie 2nd, El Senado 3rd, Ruzek 4th, Joey 5th, Smate 6th, Nathan 7th, Harry 8th, Raza 9th, Botch Gerbil 10th, Liverpool Ewan 11th, Farfu in 12th, DJ Danny in 13th, and Sun Pikachu will be starting from the back of the grid in P14.
Yeah, quite right. And like you mentioned, Nathan HRX there, he is our resident Frenchman. So he is racing his home Grand Prix. And if I'm not mistaken, yet again, as per last season, he is repping his French national flag helmet.
I'm sure he is. We will have a watch of that as the race progresses. I think, Dom, it might be time for me to do the plug that you love oh so much when it comes to Invictus.
Please do.
So over here at the Invictus Racing League, we race Mondays to Thursdays across PlayStation, PC and Xbox platforms. On a Monday night at 8 PM over on the Invictus YouTube channel, you can see Webbo Red and Lightning take you through the action in PlayStation F1. Along the same time as us on a Tuesday evening over on the YouTube, it is Malk and Matt taking you through the action in PlayStation F2. Of course, you have got myself and Dom here on Twitch doing the Xbox F1 side of things. On a Wednesday, big busy night in terms of Invictus, you've got PlayStation F3 being streamed by Infinite Gamer and JPH on YouTube, and at the exact same time, you have the dream team themselves of Cameron and ItsFozzy taking you through the action in the PC F1 League. And then Thursday nights, we move from equal to realistic performance. Just the one realistic performance league this season, unfortunately. It is the PlayStation side of things. It is Tim and Malk that take you through the action from 8 PM over on the Invictus YouTube channel. If you guys do want to go over and watch some IRL racing action when we're not around, that YouTube channel is youtube.com/InvictusRL. If you guys want to get involved in the conversation this evening, head over to Twitter. Invictus RL _ Xbox. Use the hashtag InvictusRL to get involved in the conversation. If you want the main Invictus link, it is InvictusRL on Twitter. Invictus Racing League on Instagram. And then, of course, that all-important website if you guys want to get involved in the racing action yourself. That is invictusracingleague.com. I think that is the end of the plug, as Dom likes to call it. Everyone is just setting up strategies, making those last few final tweaks. What's the strategy? A set of tyres followed by another set of tyres right now. From what I've been told and what I remember from racing this myself, it is it's quite simple, soft medium or medium soft, depending on what you want to do. Carbon in chat saying medium hard. Ryan saying starting or soft. I'm pretty sure you can do a soft medium, but soft medium is, I'm pretty sure, the way that I would probably go if I was going to do it. But it's been a long time since I drove any sort of F1 cars around around this Paul Ricard track. So we can see the timer going down at the top of the screen now. We are 15 seconds away from the start of this formation lap here in France. Carbon saying soft hard wouldn't be too bad. Tyre wear is a bit high. We'll see how many people heed that warning from Mr. Carbon Gaming TV in the Twitch chat. We are about to start the formation lap, and let's see what sort of tyres everyone is on. And there we go, DJ Danny starting on the hard tyre. Very, very interesting decision by DJ Danny, maybe heeding those warnings from Mr. Carbon Gaming. The only car to do it. But there are your predicted pit stop strategies there. 2 stop strategies predicted by the game. Soft, medium, soft, or the soft, soft, medium is predicted by the game here. But you can see the guys in the top 10. Obviously, they are locked to their tyres. The 4 cars with free choice. Liverpool Ewan and Farfu, along with Sun Pikachu on those mediums. And I believe Dom has just come back to join us in time. But DJ Danny Dom is starting on the hard tyre.
Maybe you know something that I don't, but I mean, from what I have heard and what a lot of other people have been saying as well, is that yes, the soft medium strategy has been possible. Now, obviously, we've had that new handling or not that's affected the tyre wear is a different matter, but we'll have to wait and see if it works out, see if it's a good call from DJ Danny.
Indeed, we will. The cars are making their way through Sector 3 now. We are almost ready to go racing here in Season 13, Round 3 of the IRL Xbox F1 League, brought to you in partnership with GT Omega, Driver61 and GridFinder.com. Carbon Gaming in chat, just expressing all of his accomplishments around this wonderful, wonderful track. But as we see Sir Sharks get ready to get us underway here in France, we're going to jump back to Sun Pikachu as he is the final car to take to his grid spot. We are just waiting now for those world famous 5 red lights. You ready, Dom?
As always.
Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go here in France. Looks like James Ross will run a pretty relatively decent start here, as well as Tornado and Ruzek have a little battle going into turn 1. El Tornado comes out on top of that. We've got someone running very, very wide and taking out one of the bollards for good measure as well. Smates has moved himself up to 7th by the looks of it.
Oh, there's a spinner, it's Raza.
Raza's round, got a yellow flag as well. It's probably for the spun Ferrari of Raza. Hopefully he hasn't got too much damage. Sorry, 5-second time penalty as well for Raza for it. I think he's taken a little bit too much of the corner. But Sir Shark leads this race with Jamie 29X in second and gaining rapidly. As you see PSR Harry in the foreground there, make a move on Joey. Joey's going to try and see if he can come back at PSR Harry, but he's unable to do so in that Alfa Romeo. But here he comes back now at PSR Harry. Going to come down and potentially have a look down the inside of Harry. Is he going to make this stick? Pushes Harry wide. These guys are still side by side. Little hand there from Joey as well. Smates looks to try and get himself involved in the action as well. And Joey gets himself ahead of PSR Harry. Builds the snap there from Smates behind as well. Does well to catch that. As Liverpool Ewan is now tumbling down the order. He's had an off as well. Liverpool Ewan going to have a little battle with Raza now. Can't see any damage with these two drivers. Oh, Liverpool Ewan has gone round. I'm wondering whether there was potentially a little bit of contact there between the AlphaTauri and the Ferrari there, as Raza was trying to come into the pits. We'll quickly just see what tyre Raza is going to go onto. Is he going to go onto the hards? Going to serve that 5-second time penalty, get that out of the way, get that cleaned. It is going to be hard tyres going onto that Ferrari. You mentioned it earlier, Dom. Track like this, you think that it is possible to run hard for 26 laps towards the end of this race. Looks like Raza is going to once again be the one that attempts that very, very potentially risky strategy.
Yeah, it's a bold move, and like I said, if I was wrong and people are on and know something that I don't know, then those hards might not make it, but we shall see, as Raza's car will tell us. Referring back to lap 1, 3 cars, I think it was DCRS mates, Joey and PSR Harry, all 3 wide through the apex of turn 11. That is some magnificent coordination between all 3, and as I say that, Joey is around. Just a bit too much throttle, I think.
Can't see any damage on that Alfa Romeo, so I think he is going to be good to carry on. Maybe just a little bit warm on the tyres. As Jamie 29X sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, as he currently leads this race. DRS has now been enabled here on at the circuit pool. Sorry, not on. At the circuit Paul Ricard here in France. This is, of course, round 3 of season 13 of the IRL F1 Xbox League, brought to you in partnership with GT Omega, Driver61 and GridFinder.com. My name is Kieran Wright92 and I'm joined as always on a Tuesday night, especially on the odd race weeks, by my broadcast colleague Mr. DomThNoodle, as Ruzek is looking to line up a move on El Senado. Looks to try and go down the inside. Door gets closed on him. He still tries to go for it and ended up spinning himself, and that looked to be a rather dangerous rejoin by Ruzek there, I'm not gonna lie. Luckily, no damage there from anyone involved in those incidents.
Ghosting system works. The ghosting system works, and you know, it did work in that favour. The last thing he wanted to be doing is getting disqualified for being the wrong way around on track. We have seen it happen, you know, in other places, but he's eliminated that risk by spinning himself around under ghosting, and it's saved him from a disqualification.
As indeed, some Pikachu started 14th. At the end of lap 3, he is 8th, hunting down Nathan HRX. Pulls to the left with the DRS assist. It should be quite an easy move there for some Pikachu, and that is him up into P7 now. As El Senado looks to have had a little bit of a tumble down the grid. Oh, El Senado's had a massive off.
He looks to have taken the Lando Norris line through turn 1.
As Joey picks up the first time penalty of this evening to be in your time penalty sweepstakes. Congratulations. In fact, well, no, it would have been Raza. If you had Raza in your time penalty sweepstakes, congratulations, you are a winner. But Joey picks up the first one for multiple warnings, the first 3 seconds of the evening. Sir Sharks is really starting to come under pressure now from Jamie, 29x behind him. He has gained the lead from that Red Bull, has Sir Sharks in the Mercedes. These two going to have a nice race-long battle, and I know I speak for Dom as well when I say we live for those race-long battles.
Oh, for sure. But as a driver, you want to, unless you enjoy the controversy of being in constant battles and making yourself look like a hero, you want to be out. You want to make sure that that gap for DRS has been bridged and you are no longer anywhere near it. Which is what Sir Sharks will be looking to do. He will be looking to close the, well, to eliminate that gap between them and gain the distance. But he has now been overtaken by JB29X under DRS, which we all could probably see coming. But he is now a little bit closer than Jamie was in the original instance. So maybe coming down this back DRS straight, he could get him a bit sooner and maybe pull off.
We shall see what happens there. We've got a yellow flag in set to 1. It's Joey. Joey has retired from the race. Going to jump on board with Raza. Hopefully Joey's car stays there for long enough for us to see what's happened to Joey's car. But we have had our first casualty here in La Castellet. It's just a yellow flag though. We've not had a safety car or anything like that just yet. Just going to wait to see. Hopefully the car of Joey's Alfa Romeo does just disappear as we get close to it. I'm going to assume it was round here that there was a little bit of a moment from Joey. Couldn't see where it was though. So hopefully we'll try and get Dom on the case to see if Joey says anything in the Discord. Ooh, that we've just seen at the top of our screen could very much change a few things, as Jamie was very, very wide there on entry into the pit. Sir Sharks does follow him in. Sir Sharks has picked up a time penalty.
Yeah, penalties, like I said, you can try and be the hero, but it may not pull off, and clearly this one might not pull off for, I think it was Jamie. Sir Sharks, one of the two.
Sir Sharks with the penalty. Sir Sharks has got that 3-second time penalty, along with Nathan HRX. Those are the only two cars, I believe, to my knowledge, with time penalties, as Joey was the other one. As Ruzek picks up a time penalty now as well. But PSR Harry leads the way on those medium tyres. DCRS Smates is in second, with Bots Gerbil in third. Sun Pikachu 3 seconds further back from Bots Gerbil in fourth. But he has got a McLaren-sized DJ Danny honing in on him and gaining pretty rapidly, I will say, despite him being on the slightly harder tyre.
Yeah, well, I mean, in this game, when the tyres, the tyres have got like a certain period of time, the softs will immediately turn on. The mediums turn on after about 2 laps, and the hards, they turn on after about 5. And when they turn on, boy, do they turn on. You can find grip on them that you never thought you had beforehand. They are so slippy in the first instance, but once you start, cutting through that laminate, you start to get through and properly get some grit in them, and they really do start to work and find the grips that you need.
They do indeed. We were watching Nathan HRX there as he's trying to hunt down Farfu. Unable to get him, but someone who might be able to get a move done in the very near future could be the man who's just set the fastest time of the Grand Prix so far in DCRS Smates. He's within 7 tenths of PSR Harry, with Bots Gerbil the same distance behind Smates. You can see that Gerbil just cannot get close enough to Smates, but Smates is closer to PSR Harry. So close to each other now as they're coming through the chicane. PSR Harry has a bit of a twitch on the exit there. Could open the door for Smates. Can he get close enough to the harsh driver of PSR Harry to potentially make a move in the fast right-hander of turn 10, I believe it is, Dom?
It is, yeah.
If I'm wrong. into the braking zone now. It's the, well, as Dom said, it's the speed off zone into the braking zone of turn 11, 12. Here we go. Smates is still getting ever closer to Harry. Unable to make the move on him just yet, though. PSR Harry is going to survive for now. The key words there being for now, because surely it's only a matter of time before these top three change positions. As yet again. Oh, but Joe, in fact, Joe was sticking with Smates this time. Keeping that distance between the three of them pretty equal, so Harry doing very well to potentially use that battery to keep himself ahead of Smates for now. Ruzek comes into the pits, puts the hard tyres on in that Alpine. As Jamie 29X sets the fastest lap time of the Grand Prix so far, 1:33.140 by Jamie 29X, who I believe, Dom, has gone double soft. So soft medium potentially?
Soft medium is definitely one of the options around here. I mean, if it turns out that these tyres are wearing faster than I thought, then, you know, maybe the medium's the end. Because I found, personally, that the mediums just get more and more comfortable the more and more worn they get. They don't really start to lose grip, they just lose speed. So you can trust them until they burst. And yeah, I mean, soft medium, definitely an option.
We've got a few battles going on here. Some Pikachu looking to try and get past DJ Danny. And we've still got that battle for the lead. We had it on stream for just a few moments there. DCRS Smates getting within a tenth of a second of PSR Harry under the braking zone for the chicane. Not able to make the move on him just yet. You can see the gap staying pretty steady between these three cars. Out at the head of the pack, Nathan HRX now is going to come into the pits. Couldn't do it last lap because his teammate Ruzek was in the pits himself. But I'm expecting to see Nathan HRX put on those white-walled hard tyres as he does so in the pits. And that will be him ready to go until the end of race. We are 9 laps into this French Grand Prix, and 1/3 of the way into the Grand Prix. Here comes Smates. This is where Smates seems to pick up a lot more of his pace on PSR Harry. This is the DRS straight where Smates is really able to close the gap between himself and Harry. Not able to do it so much on that main straight. So I'm wondering whether Harry, Dom, has set up his car in a way that on that main straight he's still able to maintain a safe distance between himself and Smates. Whereas in that longer DRS straight, where you've got that longer chance for slipstream, Smates is able to close that gap.
Yeah, I personally, for a track like this, will opt for a slightly higher rear wing than the competition. It means that when I do get DRS, if I get DRS, it's a lot more effective because the rear wing is slightly bigger. But what it also means is, again, like you said, the traction out of the corners is a little bit better. So, you know, that sector 3 is...
that's going to change things.
Yeah, it is. This now means that Smates has to push harder, which means he's going to be making more risks. And if he does have that lower rear wing than Harry does, then it could not end in happiness and may end in tears.
We'll have to keep an eye on that as the race goes on. But we shall see. Here we go. Here's a perfect example of the DRS straight that we were just mentioning. These guys are able to get so close to one another in this DRS straight, but no one able to make a move on anyone else just yet. I think this is, if Smates is going to make the move on Harry, I think that's probably where it's going to happen. In that long DRS straight up towards the chicane. Because I don't think really there's anywhere else that I can see Smates making that time. That's where he seems to be the closest to Harry across a lap here in Le Castellet. Otherwise it is lingering around the 4-5 tenths mark. In fact, Smate is going to try and follow Harry to the pits. Watch Gerbil, however, stays out, Dom.
Yeah, again, some drivers find comfort on these tyres, and these tyres may still be working for Botch Gerbil. It also means that he gets in the clean air and a few decent laps on those tyres just to sort of, not waste too much time putting on risky strategies. They seem to... PSR Harry and DCR Smith have both gone for the hard compound. To be interesting to see if that works for them.
Indeed.
But I do have confirmation from Joey. Apparently he was going down the straight after turns 1 and 2, and El Senado spun Joey into a wall.
Oof, well, that's going to potentially be one for the stewards to maybe have a look at, so we won't mention too much more on that situation. We will leave that for the stewarding team here at Invictus to potentially have a look at. Carbon is in the chat saying that Danny just needs to hang on. Those hards are going to come into their own very, very soon. He is under a lot of pressure from Sun Pikachu. But not able to make the move yet is the Ass driver. But that is one of 3 close battles we've got. The next one, Bots Gerbil, does now pit from the lead. So this will give DJ Danny the temporary lead of this Grand Prix. Let's see how close PSR Harry is to Jamie 29X. Looking to try and make that move on Jamie. Jamie now running a little bit wide there. Here we go, under DRS. This should be an easy move for PSR Harry. He's got no one to worry about behind him. He pulls to the right hand side of the track, and that is going to be the move done by PSR Harry on Jamie 29X. That is PSR Harry up into P5 here at the French Grand Prix. And now we keep an eye on Smates, who is between Jamie 29X and Botched Gerbil. Botched Gerbil has out ahead of Smates. So that's that overcut for Botched Gerbil, Dom, works wonders.
Yeah, I mean, in real life we saw that the undercut worked phenomenally. However, it seems on the game, it's the opposite way around. The undercut really hasn't worked there, so maybe it was just a lack of confidence in the tyres at that point. I'm not too sure, but time will tell. Time will definitely tell, especially if those hards drop off sooner than Smates originally thought.
Very, very true. Truer words never spoken, but Smates has been able to get it himself, past Botched Gerbil now for P6. Big Will in the chat saying DRS is OP here as well. It definitely is incredibly overpowered. The DRS assist is very, very important around a track like this, especially with the long straight that we have got the DRS on. As PSR Harry puts in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far on his hard tyres with a 1:32.287. We're going to jump back up to the head of the field. In fact, I'm going to go a little bit further down because I'm going to have a look at, if it moves me over, there we go, DCRS Smates, who is gaining now on Jamie 20, is looking to try and see if he can catch back up to PSR Harry, who he was having a monumental battle with in the early stages of this race. But Harry now does have the buffer of Jamie 29X in between himself and Smates, but for how long as Smates pulls to the left hand side of the track now on the run up to the chicane with the DRS assist, and that is Smates now up into P5, and for Harry is back on Dom.
Yeah, the gap is nowhere near as much as as small as it used to be, should I say. But I'm pretty sure 2 really great drivers like this could bring that gap down. Now, Sun Pikachu and Farfu both need to pit still. They could go on to the hards or do a double soft stint, or they might even push it for a single soft stint. That all depends as Farfu comes into the pits now.
And picks up a penalty for speeding, Dom.
That may change his strategy, and he can make that call that late. As long as he's not quite in his pit box, I'm almost certain you can still change to change it. He's going for the hards though.
He has indeed. Box Gerbil gets ahead of Jamie 29X, who has come into the pits to put on the medium. So we did think it was going to be a soft medium from Jamie, and our suspicions are now confirmed, Dom, as Jamie puts on those medium tyres.
Yeah, he's got to take the tyres the same length of time that Sun Pikachu has, and I mean, he's proving that really isn't that hard. Personally, I think it's a good strategy call.
We'll see if he can get himself through. We'll have a quick look at the penalty situation as well. 3 seconds worth of penalties for DCRS Smates, Ruzek, Nathan HRX, Jamie 29X, and El Senado, when I can speak English, along with Liverpool Ewan, who has just picked up a 3 second time penalty of his own. 5 seconds worth of penalties for Farfu for that speeding in the pit lane, and Sir Sharks has got 6 seconds. That is 2 sets of those 3 second multiple warning penalties. In fact, let's put, oh no, we don't want that one on, we want that one on, so we can see what sort of times people are setting lap on lap. Joey does leave the session now. Unlucky Joey, hopefully you will be back racing well next week, where I believe Mr. DomThNoodle IRL is over in Canada.
I believe we are. Obviously, if I'm not mistaken, me and you won't be, but Andrew and Matty should be. I will have a look right now.
And whilst Dom does that, that is just a reminder that the Xbox commentary teams from Season 12 are sharing F1 comms until the Realistic Performance League here and Invictus on the Xbox side of things does come back, as don't know, but it's starting to look a little bit gloomy here in France.
Yeah, God, can you turn the light back on, please? I was trying to read my book.
It is getting a little bit dark, gloomy here in France. If we were to run the Realistic, well, it would be on a Thursday night. But I know
Wow,
we are
that
still
got
slightly
dark.
lower numbers. That got very dark very quickly as well.
Yeah, and there's a risk that it could happen next week at the confirmed track of Canada. You were correct. Canada, obviously, highly known for wet races on the F1 games. Don't know why it doesn't usually race when F1 go there, but they try to add a bit of spice up. So,
well, we shall see. Some Pikachu still sticking with DJ Danny, so fair play to some Pikachu.
not just sticking with him, he is on the mediums that he started the race on.
He is. And surely they've got to be screaming out. If we have a quick look at his tyres, you can see as he moves onto the straight. Keep an eye on the. You can't really see it too well here. If we look on the rear tyres, you can see slight little. There's not really much degradation on those tyres. You know what, Dom? There's really not much degradation on those tyres.
They haven't blistered, from what I can tell. What seems to have happened is they seem to have their corner spots on them and their straight spots, but they don't seem to have degraded as he may have thought they were going to.
So
or other drivers thought they were going to.
Oh yeah, definitely. So this is definitely opening the door for some Pikachu to pretty much copy what DJ Danny's going to do. We're assuming that Danny's doing hard soft. It's why he started on the hard tyre. So I'm wondering whether some Pikachu could look to try and
DJ Danny's going into the Pikachu has stayed out.
This is very, very interesting now. We're going to see what DJ Danny does in his pit box. Just to confirm. Danny puts mediums on. Danny's not touched the softs. Thoughts, Dom?
I can't think at this point. Oh, my brain is scrambled. Oh, what is going on? Someone tell me.
And there is Carbon in the chat saying Carbon strategy. That's what Carbon said. He said that was the way.
Please help. I need help.
Got some of the guys in the chat, the more regular racers who you and I know on personal levels, Dom, saying the softs aren't actually that good here in France. So that could be why.
I mean, they're bloody brilliant when you use them, but they degrade so quickly. They're useless after a few laps, but I mean, terrible for the first few laps you have them, and I mean, seeing as the mediums are still going. Yeah, but I mean, the mediums, I mean, as you can see, some Pikachu's been on those mediums 16 laps, and the softs don't go anywhere near as far as the mediums do. So, if the mediums can carry on, which they look to be going again, the softs could probably do about 12 laps. However, don't be surprised if Sun Pikachu comes in at the end of this lap for the soft tyres.
We will keep an eye on Sun Pikachu, but I think his medium tyres are starting to fail on him, because the gap between himself and PSR Harry was about 8 or 9 seconds. It has now dropped quite rapidly to 7.5. The guys in the chat are saying yes, the tyres are good, but the tyre wear is so extreme, there's no point in using the tyres. So
true, but the sun is now out, and we can see the wear on those mediums, especially in the low speed corners, and they're really starting to show their age. I think it's time for a soft tyre. Putting the hards on now would void doing 17 laps on the mediums.
We will see, but Liverpool Ewan and DomThNoodle both on those soft tyres, so they're potentially looking to try and move their way up the order here in France. In fact, DomThNoodle's putting the mediums on, so he's just coming off those soft tyres.
He's going again.
Liverpool Ewan has put those soft tyres on. And as Dom's just mentioned, Sun Pikachu's going again. So he's looking to do an 18th and 19th lap on these medium tyres. But that gap between himself and Harry... But that is the gap, Dom. Look at the gap between himself and Harry. That is dropping rapidly. At the start of this lap, it was 7.7. It's now down to 5.7. Harry's put 2 seconds on Sun Pikachu in a lap. As DJ Danny goes fastest with a 32.203 on those medium tyres. Surely Sun Pikachu's pitting now, Dom. End of this lap.
Yeah, looking a little bit squirrely out of some corners now, so I wouldn't be surprised if you do see the Aston Martin coming to the pits at the end of this lap. And again, like I said, I would also not be surprised if it's for the softs. He's come this far. It would be the worst thing to have to put the hards on now, and to prove to everyone that the medium soft is possible is just helping me. So thank you, Sun Pikachu.
Dom is very, very happy with Sun Pikachu's performance, as it is allowing him to prove that a medium soft strategy can work here around the Le Castellet, well, the Paul Ricard circuit here in Le Castellet. Watch Gerbil is still trying to catch up to Smates. He knows Smates has a 3-second time penalty. Here we go. We'll keep an eye on Sun Pikachu. This will give PSR Harry the race lead once again. Let's see what tyres go on. It has to be the soft, surely. Surely it's the soft. It is the soft tyre. It's red walled soft tyres for Sun Pikachu. He has got 8 laps to look after these tyres and try and push himself back up to be fair, within 3 seconds of Smates. If he can get himself to within 3 seconds of Smates, he will have to now make an overtake as well on DJ Danny or Box Gerbil, whichever car does end up being the next car ahead of him. But once he's only
7 seconds behind a medium tyre runner.
But they are fresh mediums, though. They are relatively fresh mediums. They're only 3 laps old on DJ Danny's car.
They are, but we've seen some strange things happen in Formula 1, so...
Farfu goes very, very wide there as he's trying to hunt down Ruzek. This is the other Aston Martin. This is Sun Pikachu's teammate. As Liverpool Ewan puts in a 32.110 on those soft tyres, just showing what those softs can do. As Ewan then at the same time picks up another 3-second time penalty. Isn't ideal.
Scrap the lap. Unfortunately, we can't scrap the lap. It will go to whoever has...
Your cut.
I'm sorry. Whoever has the fastest lap of the race will end up keeping it, even if it's a DNF driver, and that is something that I think personally needs to change. I don't think a driver can sit there, get fastest lap, and crash out just to make sure no one has it.
I'm sure that's not what people are doing, Dom.
No,
He's hunting down Ruzek now. DRS assistance from the Aston Martin. Can he make that move? He can't catch up to Ruzek. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Someone's gone round. Is that Danny?
It is.
It's Danny. It's Danny. Danny's going slowly here. Some Pikachu's made the move on Danny, following Danny's mistake. Some Pikachu has a fair bit of work to do now if he's going to try and catch back up to Botch Joe. 13 seconds.
No, that gap should drop. It was only...
That should drop, thinking about it.
Yeah, that should drop.
And we'll just have a quick look. Where's Botch Gerbil? Botch Gerbil is just coming through the chicane now. It's just come out of the chicane, so it's about... No, you know what, Dom? That might be right.
No, actually, yeah, that is right. No, he's passed him, but it's... Yeah, the gap still stays the same to Botch Gerbil. Oh, man, I'm too tired for this. Oh, wow.
Farfu does make that move on Ruzek, so that is Farfu up into P6 now, but Ruzek will look to potentially come back. Nathan HRX, currently down in 9th place, picks up another 3-second time penalty. We have got 4 drivers yet to pick up a penalty. PSR Harry, Botched Gerbil, Sun Pikachu and DJ Danny. The only 4 cars on track yet to pick up a time penalty. We are on lap 22 of 27 here in round 3 of the IRL Xbox F1 League, brought to you in partnership with GT Omega, Driver 61 and .com. If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing and you think you can keep up with these guys on track, InvictusRacingLeague.com is the place to be. Head yourself over there, fill in the sign up form, and you could potentially see yourself out on track next Tuesday night when Andrew Gatton and Matt Valender take you through the action at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada.
Oh, we are both way too sleep deprived.
Look, it's all for the work, mate. All for the work.
Fill up the sign-in form. Oh, that's good.
Ruzek coming back at Farfu. Farfu holding on for now against Ruzek. These two are really battling with one another. With Elson Eti the pits.
Again.
13th place. It's not really been the best of races for El Sonado. Even by his own admission, I don't think he'll be happy with his performance this evening. He's going on to the soft tyre. Try and see if he can just grab something back from this race. Potentially a fastest lap or something like that. We're going to jump up to Botched Gerbil. We're just going to make sure there is no move made by Ruzek just yet. In fact, I'm going to stick with this battle because these guys are so close to one another. We're going to jump back on board with Ruzek. He's going to activate that DRS. He's so close to Farfu now. He's going to hold up, pull to the right side of the track now. That is going to be the move by Ruzek in the Alpine. Past the Aston Martin of Farfu 11 up into 6th place. But we're going to have a quick look at that all-important time penalty situation as Farfu picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think that's the perfect time to go and have a look at the penalties situation. Smates has got 3 seconds, 6 seconds apiece for Ruzek, Jamie 29X, Nathan HRX, Rosa and Liverpool Ewan along with El Sonado, as Nathan HRX picks up a 3rd 3-second time penalty. So 6 seconds for Ruzek, Jamie, Raza, Liverpool Ewan, and El Senado. 9 seconds apiece for Nathan HRX and Sir Sharks, with Farfu in the Aston Martin, currently in 7th place with those 8 seconds worth of penalties. We are on lap 23 of 27. PSR Harry does lead the way at the moment with Smates in 2nd place, but he has got a Ferrari-sized botched gerbil hunting him down and trying to see if he can catch up to that Williams of DCRS Smates. You can see the rear wing open there by botched gerbil. Not able to make the move, but I think in Bert's gerbil's point of view, he's just going to look to stay within 3 seconds now.
Yeah, you stay within the 3 seconds, you get that position. And some Pikachu is struggling to get onto the back of botched gerbil, so well, he has brought the gap down a little bit, but I think those soft... Maybe the tyre strategy was wrong. Maybe he did have to start on the hards. But, I mean, DJ Danny done that, and DJ Danny spun on the mediums, so maybe having the hards at the end was a better option.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on board with some Pikachu, you can see some flat spots on those tyres, so I think he has gone a little bit too harsh in some of the braking zones here in France, especially in that front left. If you do have a look on board, you can see what's there on that front left tyre. So I think that's probably what's affecting him, making him slightly unable to catch to everyone's favourite Canadian botched gerbil. Because, I mean, no one really cares that much for Lance Stroll. Lance, if you are watching, we do apologise, but oh, someone's round. Is that Danny?
Again? No.
No, it's not. It's El Senado. It was El Senado. I just saw the papaya-coloured car, assumed it was Danny, but it's not. It was El Senado, potentially just moving out of the way of cars that were lapping him. We've got Farfu hunting down Will in chat is saying, told you the softs are not good. You gain time for the first couple of laps and then your pace drops off. It's you being told, Mr. Dom, by Big Will in the chat.
I mean, in all fairness, he hasn't dropped time to DJ Danny. If anything, he's put it on DJ Danny. He's also still now actually gaining time.
It's a slight gain, a very, very slight gain by some Pikachu. He's gained about 2-3 tenths in this lap. It's not going to be enough to help him catch back up Watch Gerbil, especially not because he has got time penalties as well. He has just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. So PSR Harry, Botch Gerbil and DJ Danny, the only cars now on track without time penalties. Jump up to PSR Harry as he gets ready to start the penultimate lap of this French Grand Prix. As we are a couple of laps towards the end of the Grand Prix, I will ask you now, Dom, so you've got a little bit of time to give your reasoning as to why you have done this. Your driver of the day.
Now this is a hard one. And in fact, I knew you were going to ask this, and I started thinking about it 6 laps ago. I have to give one, I know I do. Now, I want to give to PSR Harry. He's been brilliant throughout the race. He's led quite a bit of it. However, you can't ignore Sun Pikachu's attempt to do the one-stop medium soft. I mean, DCRS, you know, wasn't expected to be up there this weekend. Unlike the likes of, you know, DJ Danny, Farfu, and Liverpool Ewan, who all had a great race last season. In fact, the last time we came here, I'll tell you quickly, DCRS mates, Thunderdome, and Botch Gerbil all put it on the top step. With that being said, I'm going to give it to Botch Gerbil. I know I didn't
Interesting.
mention him for a reason, but I'm going to give it to him based purely upon the fact of this is, you know, if I'm not mistaken, his 5th consecutive podium. That would make 8 out of the past 11 races podiums for that man. He is an unstoppable force in Invictus. And to see him competing at the level that he competes at and carry on enjoying it, loving it, and fighting for those podiums, I'm going to give it to Botch Gerbil.
There we go. Botch Gerbil gets driver of the day from DomThNoodle. I mean, he started at the back of the grid. It's only fair that Sun Pikachu gets my driver of the day. He's probably going to get the games as well. We're on board with Sir Sharks as he makes a move on Nathan HRX for that second to last points paying position. We are now on the final lap of the Grand Prix. PSR Harry is steaming his way around turn 11 now, down into the braking zone of turn 12 into 13. Here he comes now. The man who led pretty early on in this race as Smates picks up another 3-second time penalty. I don't think it's going to affect him too much. But here comes PSR Harry. He won in Australia. He wins again here in France. PSR Harry crosses the finishing line to win the French Grand Prix here. Botch Gerbil does indeed jump Smates on the line following the penalties. Sun Pikachu is going to cross the line and finish in 4th place. Very, very strong showing from him. DJ Danny is going to cross the line and finish in 5th. He is under a little bit of pressure from Farfu, but Farfu does have penalties. That's 5 seconds removed there, well, added on, sorry, to Farfu's time. Ruzek crosses the line and Jamie jumps him on the line because of the penalties. Jamie 29X finishes in 7th, Ruzek in 8th, Nathan in 9th. 10th place for Sir Sharks. El Senado grabs fastest lap on the final lap. Raza will finish in 11th with Liverpool Ewan finishing in 12th. And that was our French Grand Prix done.
Dylan, Jamie did not beat Ruzek on the line due to penalties.
Oh?
Ruzek ran out of fuel.
Oh, okay, so that was actually pace. Crossed the line and beat Ruzek for...
I thought I heard spluttering on the car and I couldn't figure out as to why he was ghosted on the main straight. And then I thought maybe it was a disconnect and the car was spluttering and I was like, no, that's low fuel.
There we go. So Ruzek runs out of fuel on the line and gets overtaken. But here are your race results here for the French Grand Prix. PSR Harry picks up the race win. Botch Gerbil in 2nd. DCRS Smates in 3rd. Sun Pikachu 4th. DJ Danny in 5th. Farfu in 6th. Jamie 29X in 7th. Beating Ruzek across the line as he runs out of fuel but finishes 8th in the Alpine. Nathan HRX in 9th. Sir Sharks 10th. Rounds out your points finishers. Raza in 11th. Liverpool Ewan in 12th. El Senado in 13th. And unfortunately, just one casualty this evening in Joey 645 in the Alfa Romeo, the only car not to finish. I will let Dom get our podium places into the party. We've got a couple of the guys coming in now. Gentlemen, please be sure to include your audio this evening as we get ready for the podium interviews in normal fashion when myself and Dom do a post-race interview. It is all done and run by Mr. DomThNoodle. So I will stop talking and I will let Mr. DomThNoodle talk to our podium places.
Yeah,
Sam wants to get involved in the conversation as well.
Yeah, so first of all, I do apologise for him being in the background. He has just watched the race and has enjoyed every second of it, so thank you for keeping him entertained. So, DCR Smates, I believe you finished third. Kieran's going to
mate.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes, he did.
because I am also doing Discord stuff at the same time. So yeah, what a race. How do you think it went?
It wasn't too bad. Start wasn't particularly good, but then the stint up to the pit stop was pretty decent. Instead with Harry and Gerbil throughout, and then in the pit stop got held by almost 2 seconds, and that completely ruined me. If I'm honest, I lost the back of Harry, basically got overcut by Gerbil, and then from then I basically had Gerbil my DRS for about, I think it was 14 laps. So yeah, impossible for me to break that 3 seconds I needed for a pen. So and I carried on pushing and ended up getting 6 seconds anyway. So it's a frustrating one, but a podium is not bad.
Well, you said a podium is not bad, but if I'm not mistaken, we've seen you on the podium already this season once before.
Australia.
I'd like to say, yeah, the week's just been, and it was a great show from you there as well. You've now starting to find a rhythm with these with the new handling model that you think you can keep up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I have to say I do prefer this handling model to the old one. It feels a lot more like last game. I'm starting to get more used to it. Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit more used to it, but there's still a lot more to do. So I'm hoping to get to that next stage.
Yeah, and obviously you say you're getting used to it, and I mean if you're putting the car up on a podium and you're just getting used to it, you were chasing down PSR Harry for quite some time at one point, and I think it was you that broke first. No, it was you and him that broke first. Obviously, you came out a bit behind. Was that due to the fact that he is in the pit lane before you and his car being released held you and caused the race to just abandon you?
Yeah, so I didn't really think about it, but we were in the party and we decided to pit one lap early together to try and undercut Gerbil and kind of DRS run away. But yeah, so basically he was in the pit box before me, so when I was waiting to come out, he came out right in front of me. My pit crew didn't let me go, so I was stuck there waiting for him to go down the pit lane, which was like 1.5 seconds, something like that. So that kind of ruined what could have been probably a P2, but it's only one position lost.
Well, there is definitely always next week, as the good old saying goes. Congratulations on show tonight, and we hope to see you again soon.
Cheers, bud.
Now to watch Gerbil,
Hello.
Canadian.
Yes.
First of all, if we keep seeing you in the books, my dude, we're gonna have to start finding you a visa and charging you rent.
Thank you.
We have it written down somewhere, and I think I've lost it, but I think this is your 5th podium in a row, and 8 in 11. It's getting
Wow.
insane now, man. Congratulations, what a race. Talk us through it.
Yeah, thank you. I was a little worried at the starting P10. Had a lot of traffic to get through, but luckily I think I claimed like 4 places by the end of the first corner, which was really good advantage. I was able to stick with these two, but I was just able to hang on. These two are really quick. Obviously PSR Harry pulled away, but just keeping up with DCRS mates was really tough, and got to give it to these two. You don't always want to take a position just because of penalties, but happy with P2 nonetheless.
Yeah, and you said that it was surprising, these two. Do you think that this could sort of sway your chance of getting the title that we thought you might be fighting for this season?
Yeah, it's definitely going to make it a lot harder. There's a lot more contenders this year, I think, which is amazing. Love to see it. Only way you get quicker is driving with people faster than you, and I hope to be able to bring it to them the next race, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, next week is your home Grand Prix. Are we looking to see anything special from you?
Yeah, I always like to do well there. I think I have pretty good pace. Just really got to worry about the time penalties there. Track limits is quite tough, and got to keep it consistent. So I'll be definitely putting in some practice before next week.
The best we can hope for is that you give us a show. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for getting another podium. You got my driver of the day based on the fact that you sort of went about your business, kept yourself quiet, and still managed to slyly get a podium without us even properly realizing it. Like I said, you kept yourself quiet all race, and for that, a lot of respect. So congratulations on a podium and on my personal driver of the day.
Thank you.
Now on to PSR Harry.
Hello.
This is the second time we're speaking to you. First time was Brazil.
Yep.
You're going to start making this a bit of a habit now, aren't you? We're going to have to start charging you rent as well, aren't we?
Well, let's hope so.
Obviously, you came into this race on the back of a win and a DNS. Sorry, I'm going to clear my throat. On the back of a win and a DNS. Did you have high expectations for yourself?
I mean, I know what I'm capable of, and like it was just kind of just sort of like, because obviously I don't really know many people in this grid. It was kind of just do me and see what happens. But obviously I'm always happy to get a win. It's never guaranteed, so yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and you say you were happy to get a win. Obviously, you saw that Sun Pikachu was still in front of you on those mediums that he started on, might I add. Did you think at any point that those softs might actually do enough damage when going on to possibly rip that from you?
Nah, I never really had worries. The only two people I worried about were Maitland, Smates and Botch Gerbil. I knew it was like 5 seconds in front when he pit, and I know it's like a 25 second pit stop. So I had faith in myself for him not to catch it by like 20 seconds or so. It was only really Smates who got quite unlucky with a pit stop, obviously, which it'd have been. I mean, obviously he got penalties, but if you take penalties out of the equation, it could have been either of us that would have won that if he didn't get held up. And then obviously we'd undercut Gerbil, so I'd kind of had that gap and I was able to pull away. But yeah, no, I wasn't too worried about some Pikachu. I knew he'd be sort of far enough behind to not worry me at all. So yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, congratulations on tonight. We move on to Canada next week. You stopped Botch Gerbil from getting a win tonight. You got P2. Are you going to try and stop him in his tracks at his home Grand Prix?
Yeah, I mean that's sort of the aim for every race. I mean, obviously I'm not going to win every race. It's that's not going to happen. But yeah, I've got faith in myself. I know I've had a few races around here in other leagues, and I've won one of them. So I've got a bit of sort of belief. But obviously, like Botch said, there's penalties can be a bit of an issue. But apart from that, yeah, I do feel a bit confident. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win tonight. What an outstanding show. I don't think you knew what a brake pedal was tonight, let alone how to slow down. So, congratulations on the win.
Cheers.
Congratulations to all three of you for the podium. And we shall see you again next week at Canada. Kieran, back to you.
Thank you for that, Dom. So that will bring us to the end of our broadcast here this evening. A massive, massive congratulations to our podium here in France as part of our continued shared commentary agreement with last season's Realistic Performance team. It will be Andrew and Matty taking you through the action next week from Canada in round 4 of season 13. But for more IRL racing action, head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/IRL Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Invictus Racing League, on Twitter @InvictusRL and @InvictusRL_Xbox. And if you would like to get involved in the racing yourself, check out the website invictusracingleague.com. But until next time, from myself, KieranWright92 and DomThNoodle, thank you for watching, and good night.